You say cheese. Okay. Should be good.
Not yet. Oh, not yet.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, Tom, whenever you're ready.
Okie dokie. It is 5:03, and at this time, I'm calling the Committee of the Whole meeting for Monday, February 16, 2026 to order. At this time, I'm looking for a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make that motion. Second.
Motion by Katie, seconded by Polly. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Moving on. Treasurer's report.
At the end of January, we were negative 161. $88.90. I did pay 250,000 on a short term. As of Friday, I put them off, so.
That is good to hear.
And then. Under the book camp, and once it's back, like you were talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, that helps everyone know what those accounts mean.
Yep.
You've been making it to me.
For the playground, that's still at
Mhm.
76,000.
We almost might see that grass soon.
And then for the referendum, it's at 601. Okay. I'll payment for the generator.
And is the special ed fund just because that's gonna get, we have to wait for a payment to come in on that? But that one's a
So the special ed at the end of the
school year, yeah, I just don't remember it getting up to that.
Well, and I have to do a grant too.
Okay.
In March, and then we'll get some federal aid that goes
Yes.
towards it, but at the end of the school year.
Yeah, then we transfer back into it, yeah. Excellent.
Glad to hear that short-term borrowing is getting paid off. That's for sure. Anyone else have anything for Laura at this moment? And moving on to new business. Dan, I don't see him. Oh. Deferred, sorry. So on to Katie. CISA review of finances.
So again, CISA had offered to come in and do a review of our like business office stuff. And you guys wanted a little bit more information on what they do, and so she gave me this snippet. The scope of the review includes an assessment of the department's staffing structure, operational workflows, and service delivery efficiency. Specifically, the review will evaluate how well current staffing levels support compliancy, efficiency, and the overall operational needs of the district. And I was trying to go back into the emails and look at the cost that they know they told us it was
800 a day.
Yeah, 800 a day. That's what the number I was thinking, and I just didn't have the email there that said it. So, we have not.
They say it was 3 days.
She said she would take about 3 days to do it. Yeah. Yep. And
I don't know that that would do us any good, do you?
I don't know.
Unless they review the audit and help come up with some helpful solutions.
I don't think that they would review the audit portion.
Could you email her back and ask her that?
Yeah.
And just, you can just let me know.
Yep.
Casually, it doesn't have to be added to a meeting or whatever.
Absolutely. So that's the snippet that she gave me though.
That's good to know. I was hoping that it would be in that general direction. just because I know sometimes it's easy to get redundancy within the structures of things, and it'd be interesting to know if they could what ideas they would have for possibly eliminating such things as that and streamlining.
That's what I think it would be more of.
Yeah, so.
And I don't think, we know that they're gonna say, that we have limited segregation of duties because it's such a small situation, and that's happened on the other audits for like Northwest Connections and other audits I've been on. That's always the thing that comes up, is the segregation of duties and making sure there are eyes on everything. So we're definitely not alone on that.
No, but if they could give some ideas or examples, that's the part that could be the
Yes.
most helpful at the end.
Could you say that again, Tom? Examples of, she's trying to get the notes down almost.
And just if they could give examples that they might have seen utilized by other districts, that we could maybe get some ideas off of.
And they are contracted into some districts to do some of those job pieces. Not that that's what we would need.
No, but I think Luck does use them.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
can find out more from Luck, what they do.
Right.
I was just happened to be in conversation with Corey just casually. And he's like, yeah, we use CISA. So I can find out more information on from him if you want me to.
Yeah, that would be great
Yeah.
if you could.
Well, plus they might have a better idea of what like the state and federal guidelines are allowing more nowadays too. That could help as well. Thank you, Katie. Really appreciate that. Anyone have anything else for Katie?
Thanks, Katie.
Audit information. Back to you, Laura.
Probably had questions.
Here's my questions. Like I said, the limited segregation of duties, I have no. That happens everywhere. I mean, I see it.
the bigger school districts getting that too. It's
Yeah.
like a common thing that they bring up at every.
Yeah. Some of the, and I noticed that was repeated as a finding, and I'm sure that it will be for eternity just because of the size of our district office. The other things that stood out to me, and I'm gonna focus on the repeated findings because those are somewhat concerning to me. The material audit adjustments, the cause of that was the district has not established controls to ensure that all accounts are adjusted to their appropriate year-end balances. That's a concern.
Cause he typically adjusts, he does like all of our ending balances for.
Right, and that's where that issue came up, I'm assuming, with that $150,000. That then you kind of changed it to 50,000 on each of the principals and Kevin's or whatever.
Mhm.
But
That was actually advised by him.
yeah,
I actually had a phone conversation.
and that to me continues to be a big concern because I don't know where that $150,000 is. So that continues to be a problem. And one of the things that it had said, management's response was the district will continue to rely on the audit firm to propose adjustments. But that, proposing adjustments doesn't tell us where the money is, and that's where my concern is. And I don't think anything crazy happened to it. I just think that it's something that we need to, $150,000 is a fair amount of money to want to know where it is.
And we could have our own policy on how to equal those accounts out at the end of the year as opposed to relying on them. Is that kind of what they're
Sitting
suggesting?
in a liability account and it needed to be adjusted. to-
Yeah, their recommendation was the district should continue to evaluate its internal control processes to determine if something else should be implemented. And then the next one, again, I'm mostly focused on repeated findings because those are the things, I don't know how many years they've been repeated and how big of a deal it is. But my next question refers to financial accounting and reporting, financial reporting for federal awards and state assistance, and financial reporting for federal clearinghouse data collection form. And my issue with those is that the cause is manage does not have the training and skills to prepare the financial statements, and that's where I'm wondering about if CISA can assist with that.
And I was gonna ask him about that, cause I don't know what more I'm supposed to do.
Okay, and that was my next thing is there something the board can do to assist with that training and skills? Because,
Cause
I think
that's
it's-
always been in there, and I don't think to ask him, but.
Okay.
yes, I would like to know what.
Yes,
we're
exactly.
supposed to do, because, like, when I do the grant stuff, like, it's a whole packet.
Yeah.
Every time and I print out the reports for it, and I
Mm-hmm.
do the budget paperwork.
and I kind of would assume that it's not grant related, and the reason I say that is I'm the president of the board for Northwest Family Connections
Mhm.
out of Hayward. And that is almost entirely grant funded. And the grants are so specific that it has to be on by the penny on everything.
Mm.
So I'm thinking this is outside of grant funding. But if they have some recommendation for you or for us to help you, I am very interested in that and in how we can do that.
Yep.
And I have no doubt that you would be willing to work on some, if they had something specific for you. I don't have any doubt that you would do that. The next one was the cash reconciliation procedures. And the cause, the district did not follow the controls established to maintain the proper monthly bank reconciliations. The financial statements of the district may include inaccurate information not detected or prevented by the district staff. And that again is reported as a finding, and that is a pretty big concern to me, just because it's saying the district did not follow the controls that are established.
I don't know what controls are. I don't know if there's supposed to be like more hands on it, cause right now it's just me.
Yes,
So-
and the hands-on, I think, is addressed on the limited segregation of duties.
And I know in other districts, like one will do like the reconciling, the bank reconciliation, and then another person will do like the balance sheets
Okay,
and that stuff, so I don't know. if that-
Okay.
that needs-
and maybe that's how Luck is using CISA?
And maybe,
I mean, that would be interesting to know. It would be interesting to compare our audit to theirs, because do they have somebody in your position as well? And they're.
Yeah,
using CISA?
yes, and
Okay,
using CISA.
so that
So-
would be interesting to
Okay,
me.
so they had somebody leave
Mhm.
and they used CISA as their financial person. And then they
In the
hired,
interim,
yes, and
Okay.
then they hired someone and then they continued to use CISA. But I don't know what capacity they continue to use them. We were just in passing talking. I'm like, oh, okay, you guys use CISA. So
Okay.
to find out, I can just ask him what CISA's role is in your district financial process. And then I can also talk to him, if you want me to, ask him how they, I mean, they filled in for the person that left.
Right, and that, I know that's
Right.
one of CISA's offerings for sure, like.
Yeah.
They will step in
Yeah.
and do payroll and do all that.
Yeah, but I don't know what
which
else.
definitely wouldn't help the segregation of duties, because it just switches to one
Yeah.
person there from one
Yeah.
person here.
Well, I can just ask him if he can give me a rundown. I can't promise anything. I don't know what he'll tell me, but
Do we think they might use the same audit? Do all the schools locally use the same year audit? End of year audit person? It's
No.
individual, and we've used the same company for,
since he's came back, yeah, cause before that, we had CLA.
Okay, I can't
And then
remember.
I have
I
some-
think we use Two Rivers too.
Checks too that are cleared, but they really shouldn't be cleared.
Okay.
And so I'm diligent in working on. it.
Okay. And literally, I would say the financial aspect is my biggest weakness, which is why I pay a lot of attention to it, because
Yeah.
I would like to be more literate in the financial stuff, and obviously, I'm not. I can guarantee you I have never balanced my checkbook that I've had since I was 17 years old. So this, to me, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, but, I'm a round upper, so it always works out, but.
so we typically used to, my first 5 years here, so the auditors would come and present the audit. But then the board changed over and that kind of went away because there was no interest in continuing to do that.
well, that's helpful to have
Just-
them come.
yeah.
Yeah.
It does, and that's what happens with
Okay.
like the CF board of directors, which is huge.
We would prefer it.
And
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was an option.
I actually, called him on Friday, but he is on vacation, so he. Of course.
Okay, okay, yeah, I'm very curious as to what he means in some of the things as far as the cause.
Mhm.
You know, I just, is it something that we can clear up so that they're not there?
Mhm.
And I also know that their job is to look for something. And that's what they do, and that's okay. And none of these were like considered a deficiency because that's not their role. I mean, they stated that in their letter, that's not their role. So I guess I found it really interesting. And I don't know what like the anticipated completion dates were on the 2024 ones. On the 2025 ones, I see that it has, for one of the findings, the material weakness and internal control. It has an anticipated resolution date by June 30th, 2026. So I don't know if that was on the 2025 material audit adjustments. And it was the material misstatements resulted from deficiencies in the district's internal controls over financial reporting, including inadequate review and reconciliation. And then the manager's response was that it would rely on their expertise, but then the anticipated completion date, which I'm assuming is what Kevin puts in. Is that correct, Kevin? No?
No,
I.
in terms of the audit, yeah, he.
Okay.
It's probably just procedural to put in a date to fix it on, but.
Well, it's not on some of the other ones that I saw.
Oh, but maybe last year's looks the same and they just changed. it.
Because many of the anticipated completion dates say it will not completely resolve.
Oh,
And this one
Okay.
specifically has a date. So that makes me wonder if they gave you something specific as far as like a workshop, or a worksheet or a statement or something, because how will that be resolved if you don't know how?
Yeah.
And that's on page 81, and it stood out to me that one. And then several said that it will not completely resolve, it will not completely resolve. It will not completely resolve, and then there's another
He
one.
usually does the resolving.
Yeah, and then there's another one. Material weakness and internal control over financial reporting. This finding will be resolved by June 30th, 2026. How will that be resolved? I don't understand, and that's on page 85. And I'm just trying to understand these because I don't understand, you know what I mean?
Yep.
I'm not trying to place any blame, or I just would like to know how we can do it better and move on. But if it continues to say, like the ones did from 2024, that they're all continued, that's not good. We don't want to be in that position. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 from 2024 are repeated findings, 6 findings. That doesn't seem right. So, and maybe if they were here and we could chat with them, they could explain that better
Mhm.
because they did the report, obviously.
Mhm.
So I guess those are my concerns. And if he could possibly meet with us,
Yeah, I
Um,
think that would be helpful.
or if the board doesn't want to necessarily, and he could be here during the day someday, I would be willing to come in and speak with him. With one of you present, of course. Just to kind of get a better feel for it.
I think it'd be great information for all the board members,
Yes.
though.
I do too.
I
do too.
personally-
Yeah, I'm just
But I
thinking
know
of how
how,
to present, I mean, it wasn't the most exciting.
Right.
no,
That's
there's
why the board stopped,
Right.
because we would schedule them every year and then it
Yeah.
got to a point where.
Just stop.
the best thing about them were that we went to the Dells and had a weekend where we went, you know what I mean? It wasn't, it got very tedious, especially when you first start and you don't know, like for me. So I'm glad that I have seen audit reports before, otherwise these 85 pages would have been nothing but mumbo jumbo. So I literally skipped back to like page 70. I read their letter and then I skipped back to the findings and
So-
stuff.
So the other thing that's happened, I think, the audit report, we usually don't get until pretty late, right?
Yeah, this was dated in December.
Yeah,
Yeah, so.
They
is
do
that
it in
normal?
June.
'Cause I thought it was
Yeah.
late.
cause their final report, DPI isn't due until December. So they're not-
And I can tell you that our audit for Northwest Family Connections was in July, I believe. And I just signed off on their report last week. So I know that that's the case. It takes them forever.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many agencies they do, and they do 85-page reports, so. But yeah, same thing, and that's why I had asked last month, because I was anticipating that it would be coming.
Mhm.
So, but the date was December 23rd, well, then there's Christmas break, and then so. This is as timely as we could be in reviewing it. Of no fault of anybody, but thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think definitely having them come and present would be extremely helpful. And I think some of the deadlines might coincide just with the end of the school year, and hoping that things will be summed up and fixed by the end of the school year. That's why they put the June 30th date on some of these.
Yeah, if they could just say how exactly that's gonna be
Right.
resolved. If there's something that has to be done on our end to resolve that, we obviously need to know that.
Yeah,
It can't just be a statement on a end of a piece of paper.
yeah. And I think that's just potentially not enough questions are being asked or being pointed us in the right direction of resolving some of these issues, unfortunately. And we just keep plugging along and just wait to get dinged on it the next time, which we shouldn't be doing.
Right,
So-
and we shouldn't keep getting the repeated findings
Mhm.
without a resolution, without them helping us with that.
How meeting?
Yeah, I would say so,
Maybe next month.
if we could.
When is next month's count? We don't know yet, do we?
We'll know on
Okay.
next Monday.
Typically the third.
Yeah, I think that's my spring breaks. If it's the 16th, I'm
Yep.
gonna tell.
I have it on my calendar for the 16th as a holding place,
I know the board meetings.
the 23rd.
Yeah.
The 16th, tentatively.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you could schedule it for then, that'd be great.
I do believe I could attend virtually though. Oh. In fact, I would prioritize it, so.
All right. Thank you for the info, Laura. Look forward to hearing more about that. If we don't have anything else, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
I would make a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion by Polly, seconded by Katie. All those in favor, say aye. Aye, opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you very much, all.